Hello everyone, this is Javamonk, and this is a follow-up to my 3D printer video. Why? Because in that first showcase of the 3D printer, I said this. I call this size the go big or go home. And I went home. I will only continue if you guys want the Ender Dragon instructions, because this is a lot of work. Yeah, about that. I lied. I am 3D printing the giant dragon. So, this is the full thing in operation, and as you can see, the seconds counter is ticking upwards. It's about 6.5 days straight of running this thing, although it hasn't been a full 6.5 days straight that I've been running this. It's been more like 5 days straight. And this is because, in order to, avoid driving myself insane, I downloaded the carpet mod. So, check this out. So I can do tick whip, and let's make these flying machines come back really, really quickly. So, tick whip has been kind of a sanity saver here, although it really doesn't actually save that much time. Nevertheless, it is still useful, and since this is taxing my computer so much, I actually installed Carpet Mod on my own server. This is a private server, so when my game tends to crash when I run tick whip overnight, so the server prevents it from totally cataclysmically crashing every single flying machine. Another modification I had to make with this particular dragon statue is the actual instruction system. So, first of all, I had to create a totally new system to go in between these slices of the chest. This system works relatively smoothly. The only thing is, there's way too many here. There would not be enough time for the last shulker box at this last slice there to go all the way to the end in the time that it takes for this shulker box here to empty. So, this is the only command block related thing in this 3D printer, which unfortunately makes it so you can't put this full entire system in place in survival mode. You do need these command blocks. And what these command blocks do is just data merge, the block above them, transfer cooldown 0. That basically makes it so these hoppers are instant hoppers, which is pretty useful. Outside of that, that's the only modification made to this. So, there we go. This is the go big or go home size of the 3D printer. And it's been running for quite a while. Oh, and not to mention, this is only about half, maybe 2/3 of the instructions for the entire dragon statue. The reason the entire instructions aren't here is because that amount of chests completely lagged out my game. So, yeah, this is just 2/3 of the instructions. This is quite the task, which probably makes this a world record attempt right here, because this is a 270 by 249 by 61 layer 3D print. As far as I know, this is the largest 3D print ever attempted. And I'm gonna do it. And I'll make a video once I complete this challenge. So yeah, world record attempt registered right here, right now. Oh, and tick freeze has been really, really helpful for those cases when when the actual game crashes, but the server doesn't. Some flying machines still fail to return properly, and so tick freeze has been an absolute sanity saver, because I can just come in and update the machines that haven't flown back, or rebuild them if I need to. It's just so awesome. Although, I don't get why this gravel still attempts to keep falling. That part just makes no sense. Oh, and stats for this particular size. One layer is approximately 20 hours. And the tick whip command speeds that up to about 16 hours. So that kind of gives you an idea on just my specs of the computer. my processing chip is a Dorito, and my RAM is a horned sheep. So, yeah. Let's run it back normally and stop this machine, because I want to show you some brand new technology I had to create in order to kind of make the instructions for this 3D printer. Introducing a brand new data pack called 3D Printer 3. And this is basically an upgrade to 3D Printer 2, which deals entirely with breaking the shulker boxes that have the instructions inside them. So when you download the data pack, you just activate the function 3D Printer 3 activate, and that gets you the shulker box receiver and the shulker box destroyer. So I'm going to assume that you have seen the showcase of the actual 3D printer. So this is probably not going to be anything new. This is just an upgrade. So it's just like 3D Printer 2. You just place the shulker box destroyer at the start of the shulker box line. And by the way, it's not limited to shulker boxes. It can also destroy stuff like sandstone. And then you put your shulker box receiver on top of the hopper where you want the items to go. And from there, you then activate, once you've placed down your armor stands, you then activate the scoreboard just once when you activate the data pack. The scoreboard's players set at P shulkerrows 10. Because in this case, I have 10 shulker boxes per row, but it's not limited to 10, as I'll demonstrate soon. From there, you activate the function start breaking. And this basically resets all the scoreboards, and you got to do this every single time you start a new set of shulker boxes. So the big difference is the function AAA destroy boxes. Check this out. Boom. It immediately destroys 54 blocks. So, and then all 54 of those blocks will go into this chest. So if this was shulker boxes, it would fill this chest up in the order that the shulker box destroyer broke those blocks, which is pretty awesome. And there you go, perfectly 54 blocks. So here's some limitations with this data pack. You do unfortunately have to use double chest as the instructions. Also, you have to find a way to move the shulker box receiver in between the chests. But what's cool is that you can just, once you have that system in place, you can pretty much just send it off just like that. Now, there's some weird stuff going on with this particular data pack, and that's because 54 doesn't divide by 10 very evenly, so it has to jump back. It ends up jumping back to this block here, at which point AAA destroy boxes runs as normal. But that's not guaranteed to. But you will need to do some modifications to this data pack if you actually plan to use this for any size other than 10. I realize I didn't make much sense there, so here's a demonstration. Suppose we had 3 shulker boxes per row. So here we go, activating. See, that's what happens when you forget to activate start breaking. Now it's going to run perfectly. Anyway, AAA destroy boxes. That's going to destroy this entire set here. And once again, it still does only break 54 blocks. So no danger there. But here you can see that it's actually started at the beginning of the row. And when it starts at the beginning of the row, there's a potential for trouble. Although it seems with... Oops. Yeah. That's the danger right there, is that the armor stand can end up jumping to the side and doing weird things. So when you have 10 shulker boxes in a row, you have to set there's an errorfix scoreboard that you set to 5. Now, you're going to have to figure out what that errorfix scoreboard is yourself, because I haven't been able to distinguish a pattern. But you are going to have to set that in order for this 3D Printer 3 function to work correctly. But once you do, it's an absolute sanity saver, because you no longer have to keep track of when you're running out of space in your double chest. You can pretty much just... Here, let me actually show you the system that I implemented. to make this actually work for the dragon statue. So here's the relatively messy system that I put in place to also, again, to keep my sanity and to make my job extra easy. So with the job of putting the instructions into the chest. So pressing any of these buttons or flicking any of these levers would activate this command block, the AAA destroy boxes. Now, this will also alternate between teleporting the armor stand to either this hopper, over to this hopper, back to this hopper, over to this hopper. That's what those two command blocks at the, that's what those two command blocks are for. Once the armor stand reaches the very top of the stack, then this command block activates and teleports the armor stand back down to the bottom of the next stack. So this is a good system to implement if you have a lot of instructions to input, just like I did with the dragon statue. So there you go. That is 3D Printer 3, the datapack. While we're here, I might as well address what is going on with stuff like the survival series. Well, here's the thing. I have a massive, massive backlog of videos. Basically up until like maybe June, July of next year. It's a bit insane, but it actually makes perfect sense to me because, well, I've basically run out of time to make videos. And yes, I know honey blocks are out, and I should probably be making crazy redstone contraptions with them, which makes it a horrible time to be creatively burnt out. So yeah, that's also why I haven't been talking about 1.15 snapshots in my survival series, and hopefully that part makes sense. It's all explained in episode 92. Also, I'd like to briefly address the future of this channel with the whole kappa thing. Yeah, I don't really give a crap. Why? Because I just said crap. And that therefore makes me not Dora the Explorer, and therefore makes me not made for kids. However, this channel is family friendly. So I think there's a big distinction between made for kids and family friendly. And I am family friendly, but I'm not made for kids. Made for kids in the way I see it is Dora the Explorer. Family friendly is SpongeBob SquarePants. I hope to be like SpongeBob SquarePants. Maybe more like Game Theory, the YouTube channel. So there you go. That's what I think, and hopefully I don't have to start cussing in order to avoid being considered made for kids. I hope not. Also, I don't give a crap because I'm not being monetized. And in fact, being monetized is kind of, I'm not really thinking about that all that much. I'm nowhere near being able to be monetized, so there's no point really trying. That's the way I see it. So there we go. This channel is not going away, and you will continue seeing the same content, maybe slightly different, because well, it's going to be older content. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know, and I will see you next time. And that next time will probably be the completed dragon statue. This is a world record attempt by me. I'll see you then.